again.
I know.
You know what? I am super excited about this week. Super excited about this week because there is something that I'm not really that familiar with um, that I'm excited about, and I'm hoping maybe you can help shed some light on what exactly it is and why this system's working for it. I'm really excited about it. I have a customer who is referring the product out, and one of their referrals said, "Hey, do you know anybody that has this?" And I said, "No, not personally." So I reached out to the group of other people that are in this and asked, and we've got a guest speaker today, a testimonial today that's dealt with exactly that. Now, truthfully, I'm very naive to it, so I'm really excited about this, Tiff. I'm really
Yes.
excited about this. First off, I'm excited. I always like to learn, and so I'm excited. Um, Colitis. I'm just going to throw it out there. Colitis. I don't even. I'm admittedly naive on this. I kind of have an idea. Anyway, hey Tiff.
Hey.
Folks, welcome to our live stream. And I'm just rambling here, but I'm really excited about tonight's live stream. I think we've got some really cool special guests coming in here. We're kind of covering the whole spectrum of there's some really cool things. Skin tags. Anybody listening have skin tags? If you have skin tags or that darkening or discoloration of the skin around your neck or armpit area, something like that, we've got people who are winning with that. We've got this, obviously, I was just talking about colitis. We've got a little bit of diabetes. I'm really excited about this live stream. There's some really cool testimonials coming up. So welcome to our live stream. My name is Jim, and I used to be a type 2 diabetic. I have completely reversed type 2 diabetes. I had a 12.2% A1C, which is just off the charts. And Dr. Tiffany, I found out today, I had blood work done today. And now, mind you, I've been completely unmedicated since February 14th of 2023. So 20 months now.
Okay.
And in Colorado, we're really fortunate. We get our A1Cs like right away. And my A1C was pulled. I am 20 months completely unmedicated at 4.8%.
Ooh.
I'm in the fours. I am in the fours.
I know.
I was thinking I was good, but I didn't think I'd be that low. In the 4.8%.
That's
UC
cool,
Health, that is an official. That's done at my doctor's office. So I'm really excited about that, guys. We're going to talk about the Unicity Field Grade System, and I got really passionate about this, and I went to TikTok and started talking about it a lot on TikTok, and then social media in general. And along the way, I've met some amazing people, and at the top of that list is Dr. Tiffany Marie. And Doc, introduce yourself here. Tell everybody who we're talking to and what's your background. How did we get here?
Yes. Well, I am a real medical doctor. I actually went to medical school, and I'm board certified in lifestyle and family medicine. And what really got me here was one day I woke up and I was like, man, writing these prescriptions is not okay. My patients don't even look good. Yeah, I'm writing it. They're on 10 meds. And, their numbers may look better. They may have some better A1Cs, not as good as Jim's, but they may have some better A1Cs, but they still look like crap, for lack of a better word. Who wants that, right? That just didn't feel like I was doing my job. I didn't go to medical school for that. So I woke up and I decided there's got to be something else. I had a colleague that was doing lifestyle medicine, and I said, let me figure out what this is about. And it's about getting to the root causes of conditions. And I went back to school, got board certified in another specialty because, I had time. Who has time? Nobody. But when you want to do something, you make the time for it, right? And that's when I started getting introduced to other ways to do things. I got connected with Anne Marie, who was like, maybe you should consider these plant-based natural products. I thought she was trying to sell me something, but you know what? She opened my eyes to these products that have been doing some great things, helping me help people make the lifestyle changes that they need to make to reverse these chronic conditions. So here I am, after helping my brother get off his insulin, after getting off my blood pressure medicine, after not having hot flashes, being on the Facebook Live with the Healthy Pitmaster in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's what this sweatshirt is about, if y'all didn't get it. So I am excited to be here, and I love it every time I'm here.
You know what? I'm going to drop a little tidbit of information that I learned real recently. And I'm making zero claims with this, okay? And I did post that we're all watching on the Healthy Pitmaster. I did a post, I don't know, a week or two ago, and it was talking about breast cancer and a connection with matcha tea. and a shrinkage of tumors. Interesting. I'm making no claims with that whatsoever, but go read the post when we're done. It's a pretty fascinating. I'm not in fear of getting breast cancer, but guess what? I am drinking a little bit of matcha. Matcha is really good for you. So we're not going to be talking about matcha today. We're going to talk about Unimate, which is a yerba mate extract, South American tea, yerba mate. Maybe some of you have heard of it. And we're going to be talking about balance, also known as Bios Life elsewhere in the world. And I want to go through and just acknowledge a few people. We're getting a lot of people right away. I
know.
My niece Steffi. I see John Sands. Hey, John, Lisa, everybody. Welcome to this live stream, guys. This is going to be a good one. Here's the deal. You see a bunch of people typing in people's names. Those are seems really, really random, right? What they are doing is they're typing the @ symbol and then one of their friends or family members' names. When you do that, all one word, just the @, no spaces, just start typing @Tiffany Marie, and eventually it will pop up with your friend's name and just hit enter. Boom. They are now tagged into this live stream. That's how it works on Facebook. If you're interested in sharing it on YouTube, we are live on YouTube right now. We're also live, I saw, on LinkedIn again. That's awesome that we're making a live on LinkedIn. I know we're live on Twitter as well as Instagram. We're in a couple different places on Instagram right now. So we're all over the place. On Facebook, just type the little @ symbol and a name, and you'll see it pop up, hit enter, and you're good to go. Now, in light of that, if you just got tagged into this, you're like, hey, what is this notification that I have to go watch this? Stick around and watch it. Whoever it was that tagged you into this thinks that this could benefit you. They're not trying to say that you're overweight or that you're out of control or anything like that. They're just saying, hey, you know what? This might be able to benefit so-and-so. And so they thought of you. They tagged you into here. You've got an opportunity to listen to an actual board-certified doctor, somebody who actually has credentials. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, just a couple.
Just a couple. And on top of that, and Doc, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say something. People who have actually won on the system, and I would say that their testimonial, as much as I love your words, Doc, it's hard to beat testimonials. They mean something. These are people who have actually benefited from the system. Listen to what they say. We've got an amazing group of people coming in tonight. I am so excited to hear them. So more than that, if you are on the system, let's say that you're on the system and you got my email or you got Dr. Tiff's emails or notifications, or somehow you ended up in here. I don't care if you're in my group or Tiff's groups or whoever's group it is. If you're in here and you want to refer the system out, type @ and then type their name. Just do that. In fact, I'm going to encourage everybody who's listening right now, tag 5 people on their Facebook. Just type the @ type their name, hit enter. If everybody does that right now, do that 5 times. I see Cindy asks if we are on Zoom as well. Cindy, we're not on Zoom. No, this one is not closed off to anybody. Anybody who has access to Facebook or
Instagram,
all the platforms.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody that has access to anything is able to watch this one, no code. So we open ourselves up to the potential of trolls. Hopefully we don't have anything like that. But okay, so let's jump into this. Dr. Tiffany, what is the problem? What are we talking about, or do we want to go with Bev first? What are you thinking? What direction do you want to go?
I say let's bring Bev in. Let's bring Miss Beverly in.
I'm down with that.
Ha! There she is. Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, I have to give an intro for this lady. This lady right here, I mean, in the Army, and she wasn't just in the Army, she was jumping out of planes. Okay. And so when I say she's tough and trained, masters, and professional counseling. So this is something that she already has the background and the credentials for. Already is a co-owner with a Premier Health and Wellness. Make sure I said that right. With her lovely husband, Johnny, which we love. But they're a dual income, no kids couple. They call themselves DINK, the original officer and a gentleman. Huh? And clearly her big catchphrase is, because you deserve so much more. So when she was able to join and actually see some great results on these products, it was like, I've got to get her up here. She knows so much. And not only that, she has this great result of these skin tags becoming no more. How many people deal with skin tags? So many of us do. So I don't want to talk too much about your story, Beverly, but I'm so happy to have you here.
Okay, can you guys hear me? And okay, and am I standing in the right place? I hope I am.
Good. You're
You're
great.
in the perfect place. And Bev, I've got your pictures teed up. So as soon as you're ready to say, show my picture, you say, show my picture, Jim, and I will put it up there on the screen for everybody. It's amazing, guys.
Okay, and I appreciate that. And so what's crazy, of course, today is you all see me wearing a turtleneck, right? But that's only because, so you guys know up front, I had neck surgery last week. And I didn't want to come on with a big patch and scare people, but I'm doing extremely well. And so, yes, you'll see the pictures later in a few seconds or in a minute or so. But one, I want to just thank Dr. Tiffany, y'all, double board certified. I mean, she was the clincher for me to believe that the efficacy behind this product is real. And then beautifully, I get to meet the pit master. And I'm telling you in person, what you see on screen for both of these people are real. They're compassionate. They are genuine. They are on a mission to change lives, to save lives. And I am just honored beyond measure to be part of this. I'm in awe, y'all. I just need y'all to feel my heart here. I am literally, I guess I went through all of the emotions all over again when I first started this health journey over 20 years ago, of being incensed, mad that the medical system is not there to truly, and I hate to say that, help people all the way through the journey. They are there 100% necessary, but there's still so many sick people in the world unnecessarily also. And so the journey, this journey that we're on started this year. And I will tell you that I'm almost, I want to be not really at a loss of words, but I want to tell you all that this is so real. I was a huge skeptic. So my girlfriend, who is good friends with Dr. Tiffany, A. Marie, mentioned along the way, hey, you know what? I have an amazing doctor I need you to talk to, because she knew I would need the science and the efficacy behind it. And so the part, like, it was just beautiful, right? But I was like, yeah, no, I'm just not ready. And I told her specifically, because she was joining the company, when you walk off of your job, you will make me a believer. And that was it. I just knew she was not going to do that. You know, she was an engineer making over 250. Her husband had great results. I heard that. I talked to Dr. Tiffany. She backed the science behind it. It's in the physician's best reference. So I knew that it was legit. But no, I was comfortable where I was at the time. And I will tell you that when A. Marie really did that, that was eye-opening. And then we kept on seeing these, these stories, these testimonies of real people that we were able to then meet in person and recognize that these people are not making this up. This is legit. Like, the labs don't lie. So what we did was I said, okay, she told me she put her resignation paperwork in, and I was like, what? Excuse me? Who does this? And we said, okay, you know what? Let me put my daddy on it. He's in his 80s, and he's like having some memory and just low energy stuff. And I'm gonna put my cousin, like a second mom to me. She's in her 70s, and I'm gonna see what it does for them. Well, my dad was like, hey, you know what? I'm feeling a lot better. It's giving me, a lot more energy. I'm not feeling as depressed. My second mom, she was like, oh my goodness, my gastro system is amazing. This is awesome. And her man is on it with her also now. And so Johnny decides to jump on board. So Johnny jumps on board, and he has not truly been 100% consistent with anything for over like a decade. As a matter of fact, the marriage was about to like disintegrate because he was on the CPAC machine, and I was just really upset about that thing. I could not like get past that.
Oh,
And
God.
so he says he's gonna do it and change nothing, and he did that, and he lost 12 pounds the first month. Okay, that then made me a true believer. Then I was like, you know what? All these stories I'm hearing, but now it's happening in my house. He's actually losing the weight. We're gonna look like the bill of true health in motion, and I'm excited. And so I jump on it. Now I'm a skeptic. I go to a meeting and I listen to a diabetes educator and Dr. Tiffany. And I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. Okay, yeah, I've heard all these spills before, whatever. Then they stop on skin tags. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I was like, wait a minute. My grandmother has those. I'm convinced that those are hereditary. I know this because, that's just what happens. I've seen so many people with it. And that really piqued my interest. And I was like, okay, you know what? If I don't do anything else, I'm going to jump on this just to prove them wrong. I don't believe this. I mean, all the amazing stories, people I met, I was still like, yeah, right. This is just too good to be true. So I knew I was smart enough to take a picture. I could just show you, like here, but in the patches here, I don't want to scare anybody. But I jump on it, and the first 30 days, nothing happens. Jim, Dr. Tiffany, I'm like, y'all, this is garbage. I don't know what I hear is working for everybody else, but I'm a plant-based eater. I'm healthy. I would not have told you that I was in the 93 percentile of Americans that are dealing with insulin resistance. You could not. And none of my friends would tell you that. I'm the healthiest friend in everybody's bunch. And so for that shocking revelation, 6 weeks later, because I knew I was smart enough to stay on the product, because you have to do 90 to 120 days for your blood cells to replace themselves. So the efficacy of what's really working in your body. At the 6 week mark, I'm like, let me just take a picture and see, I'm not thinking anything of it. We put the picture side by side. I'm like, are you kidding me? Jim, throw that picture. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, wait, stop the madness. This is real. I am dealing with insulin resistance, y'all. And then the learning curve that has transpired in these last less than 6 months, actually, has been phenomenal. I mean, over 20 years in the health field and totally missed that this could be plaguing so many people and so preventable. And so, oh my gosh, easy to do. You heard Jim talk about 2 products, 1 practice, and we are getting 100%, like I shouldn't say 100%, but we are getting massive results, y'all. Again, you guys, Johnny and I are on like a whole nother level of like passion, purpose to scream this from the mountaintop for people to recognize. I, even as a plant-based eater, thought breakfast was the most important meal. Elmo, eat less more often. That's what I was taught. Not recognizing I'm keeping my insulin levels up high all day. Not good, not healthy. I didn't know I could skip breakfast. I didn't even know I could not snack. I was a huge snacker all day because I was eating clean. So what was wrong with that? Y'all, this protocol works. Jim talked about the matcha. I got matcha mix because Dr. Tiffany mentioned she mixes her matcha with her yerba mate tea sometimes. Yerba mate. I was like, what? Yes, and it works. It's delicious. But oh my goodness, what is going on in our family? My brother is off of his patch and pills. Johnny's aunt has lost significant weight, so much so that now she's able to actually go watch her grandchildren play ball. Y'all, Yay. Those are life transforming things that our dream was always to impact the ones closest and nearest to us. And that is exactly what's happening. All right. Am I over my 7 minutes? I hope I'm not, but y'all, I'm excited. Oh my gosh.
I absolutely, Bev. Okay. So Bev mentions that we've met in person. And yeah. I just want to be clear, guys, that the energy that you see right now in Bev is real. It could be 11:30 at night, and that's the thing, Bev. And I love her for this. It's been one of the coolest. You've been one of the Bev and Johnny are some of the coolest people I've met now. And I love that story, Bev. I love that. And truthfully, Dr. Tiff and I, we exchanged information throughout the week, and she said she was going to have Bev back on. I was like, well, we had her a few weeks ago. I didn't say this to Tiff even, but I was like, we've had her on. And when she said the skin tags, I was like, well, I know I know people, this one gets people, myself included. I had skin tags. My mother has skin tags. And I
Mhm.
thought, like you, that it was just a hereditary thing.
Yep.
And I remember talking to my uncle on my dad's side. So I said my mom had them, my uncle on my dad's side, and he was saying, yeah, I just pinch them and tear them off. And I was like, man, that's an awful feeling. But I'm not going to lie, I've done the same thing. Other people may spend $800 to go to the dermatologist to have them lasered off, only to have them come back in 6 months. They are pesky. They're annoying. Why are they there? And they're there because of insulin resistance. And guys, if you have those skin tags, here's the deal. They are a very, very, very early indicator of insulin resistance. The problem. That is the problem. With that being said, Bev, I'm going to shut that camera down because I want to go over to Dr. Tiff and get an explanation as to what is insulin resistance. But Bev,
thank you, Beverly. So awesome.
Would you stick around for me? I know we're going to have some questions for you. And at the end, folks, everybody that's listening, at the end of this live stream, we've got a Q&A session where I'm going to bring everybody back in. You can ask Dr. Tiff for questions. You can ask Bev questions, or our other guests that are going to be coming in. If you're really bored, you can ask me a question. Must be hard up to follow that panel. But anyway, okay.
Let me just say, Johnny's lost almost 40 pounds now, too. That's huge, though. Yeah.
Yes.
5 inches.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Okay, Dr. Tiff. Oops. Nope, wrong one. I'll just push buttons. At some point, I'm going to make this look smooth. Dr. Tiff, what is the deal? What's going on? What is insulin resistance? And we're covering a lot of ground here. We're talking about colitis. We're talking about skin tags. We're talking about diabetes. And we're talking about 2 drinks.
Yeah,
Shed some light.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, well, let me show you. Okay, well, what we're talking about insulin resistance, but the big problem here is, just like Beverly was saying, the 93%. So only 7% of Americans are actually have good health. And what Beverly said was, I'm the most healthiest person in my friend group. I'm not part of this 93% like the rest of y'all. She thought she was a 7%er. She wasn't. Now with those skin tags, and there's so many people walking around with skin tags or the dark patches under the neck or under the arms or under the eyes. But the big issue here, which is scary, is that, if we actually make the lifestyle changes, we can actually do better than the medications they have out on the market. The cholesterol medicine that we prescribe, me as a physician, to people to help their cardiometabolic health only decrease things 1 out of 100 people. That's 1%. But if you can change your lifestyle and eat the right way, know when and how to eat and fast and put fiber first, you can decrease your metabolic risk by 39%. I mean, that's crazy. And so it's a global issue. It affects people of all nations, all ages. But like I said, it can be reversed with what you put in your mouth. But of course, that's easier said than done. And I'm going to talk about that. So diabetes, 30.3 million people are running around with it. That's 1 out of every 10 people. Okay, that's based on a CDC study in 2022. 84.1 million people are running around with prediabetes. That's before you get to diabetes. They actually had to make that a diagnosis term. Before it used to be, you have that, what they say, borderline diabetes, right? No. This is an actual diagnosis, prediabetes. 9 out of 10 people don't even know they have it. And then, of course, heart disease is still killing us. It's the number 1 risk, even though I'm here trying to support prevention, because I'm about prevention of breast cancer, okay, right? Heart disease is still a thing that's killing us. Number one in the U.S. But over half of the adults actually have insulin resistance. And these symptoms here and diseases are very well linked to insulin resistance: body fat, migraines, depression, dementia, erectile dysfunction. We had a great call with erectile dysfunction last week. I mean, it was awesome, the results that Royal had. And then polycystic ovarian syndrome, fatty liver. And what is insulin resistance? Most of us, when we think of insulin, we think of our grandma with the diabetes. Probably now we think of our mom, our aunts, and how they have to give themselves insulin, right? Our uncles. Insulin is a hormone our body already makes, right? So why are we giving ourselves insulin for type 2 diabetes? Type 1 diabetes is a whole nother thing. We're talking about type 2 diabetes, okay? Why are we giving ourselves a hormone that we should already have? And I'm going to that later too. So insulin, that is a hormone and it does a lot of things, but we like to focus on how it delivers energy into the cells and stores excess glucose as fat and how it regulates blood sugar levels. Insulin resistance is a condition in which the cells don't respond to insulin as well as they used to. And it has a lot to do with, when we say what causes insulin resistance, too much insulin in the bloodstream, right? That's makes enough sense right there, right? What causes too much insulin? The things we eat and drink. And so when we think about that, where does high insulin come from? I got this from my favorite fat scientist, as he likes to call himself, Dr. Ben Bikman. And pretty much with a global nutrient database, you see how much of this is carbohydrates? So that's where the high insulin comes from. That's where it comes from, because carbohydrates get broken down into glucose, and then glucose makes the pancreas release insulin to get that glucose into the cells to use it. Okay. So if you're somebody who's been listening to this food pyramid, eating 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates or snacking, you're constantly giving yourself that carbohydrate, that glucose, making your pancreas release insulin. Just like Beverly said, snacking, even if it's with healthy snacks, you're constantly feeding, giving that carbohydrate, even what we call healthy snacks, giving your body that glucose. It makes you have to have high levels of insulin, and the insulin is hanging around. It's hanging around. And then not only that, you feel cruddy, because you're going through all these spikes. You're doing your snacking, the sugar's going up, and then it drops low because of the insulin. Then it goes back again because you said, you know what, I need a snack. I'm feeling hungry. And then the insulin comes out, it drops it again. You know what, I feel like I need another snack. And so that's what happens. That doesn't look good, and it doesn't feel good either. So I like to talk about the 5 things you can do immediately. Decreasing the carbohydrates you're eating, because if you decrease the amount of carbohydrates you put in, that's going to get broken down into glucose. Then you decrease the glucose and thus the insulin, right? And then avoiding processed carbs and refined sugars, because nobody needs to be eating those. I don't care what you do. If you decide you don't want to listen to nothing I say, nobody needs to be eating that. And then exercise with weight training, very helpful. In fact, I saw a study that said muscles have a lot to do with our livelihood. What they say? They said, oh, well, I forgot it. But anyway, the point is working out, building muscle brings down the glucose, and then does what we wanted to do, allows you not to make as much insulin, right? And then a high fiber diet actually dampens that glucose, which is good. We have a way to supplement that. And time-based eating, doing intermittent fasting, actually. Time-based eating is just kicking out the snacking, but intermittent fasting when you're actually going longer periods, missing a meal, right? And so doing that, if you think of it, you're shutting down your gut. So of course you're going to decrease your glucose. You're going to decrease the insulin. But when I was listening to my favorite fat scientist, he pointed out 2 things you can do immediately. So this is a way to even just break it down even more. Balance your blood glucose and frequently fast. And so that's what doing the insulin and the glucose. Lowering both of those actually improves metabolic health. And so if you focus on the fiber, as we see, this dampens the insulin response because it dampens the glucose response. And of course, fasting, when I bring this up, everybody complains about how that can be difficult, which is why I like the things that help me. The Unimate actually boosts my natural GLP-1, so that way it regulates my appetite, controls my cravings, allows me to be able to fast. And in fact, it gets boosted, that GLP-1, that hormone that everybody's getting injections for, Wegovy, Ozempic, it boosts that GLP-1 to 70%, 60 to 70% in the fasted state. And so knowing what we know, that's the problem. And what I love is that we have something that actually helps deal with this problem. Back to you, Jim.
You know what? I mean, you make that look so easy. I'm able to understand it. I love that. I appreciate that about you. That's a 10-year degree squished into about 6 minutes for everybody. That's what that was. But very accurate. And I have found that if we just do exactly what she's saying, guess what? Everything gets better. If you just do exactly what she's saying, everything gets better. I want to point out, I mentioned earlier, I challenged everybody to invite 5 people. And I said, hey, if you've been invited into here, that means somebody wants you to hear what we're saying. And if you want to share it out, share this out. If you do decide you want to go ahead and order this product, and by the way, we'll get into the details about that, but if you want to order the product, all you have to do is get back to the person who invited you to the live stream, okay? Whoever it was that invited you into this live stream, we've literally got people all over the world. Right now, we're live on 14 different platforms. That is amazing. We're live on D Live. Has anybody heard of D Live?
No.
Yeah, we're live on that right now. We're live on Twitch. We're live on a lot of different platforms, and this thing's going all over the world. We've got people all over the world. So if you want to order, just get with whoever invited you into this live stream, and they will tell you how to order. It's that simple, okay? No tricks, no gimmicks. So that's what we do. I want to go ahead and, since you were just talking about glucose so much, I want to introduce somebody who I'm just now kind of starting to get to know. But before I do that, I'm going to ask a favor of everybody in the audience. I'm going to do something here, Dr. Tiff. Game time decision here.
I see.
All right. I'm going to ask that everybody who's in the comment section, and I have seen a lot of people making comments, but I'm going to ask that everybody who's in the comment section that is on the system, do me a favor and just give a quick little write-up as to what it has done for you. And while our next testimonial is speaking, I'm going to try not to distract her too much, but I'm going to share those across the screen. So if you are on the system and you're having an amazing experience, type it up, and I'm going to share that across the screen, okay? Now, I see Hi says, what about someone going through menopause? We're going to get to your question. We're going to have time at the end for this question. Ask that question here in just a little bit. I don't want to miss it. And if I try and remember it now, I will forget it. So ask that question there in a little bit. But I want to introduce Debbie. Okay. Now, Debbie has had a pretty amazing experience herself. And Debbie, I want to ask a question that I ask everybody.
Okay.
And it's going to be a different answer coming from you because we didn't meet through. So how did we meet? And where were you at with your health when we met, or when you met Michelle? And where are you at now? Would you just give us a rundown of you? Who is Debbie?
Sure. I'm Debbie. I actually kind of I guess I watched Jim, and then I also watched Michelle, and I also watched Ro. So that's where I kind of started from, and I just kept watching them talk about this system. And where I was at health wise was I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My A1C was a 14, and I was having some issues with my eyesight because of it. And the doctor had put me on medication, and it just really made me feel crappy, and I didn't like it. So of course we tried another medication. He did suggest, the other things that we try, which is healthier eating, this and that, but it was really, really difficult. I actually felt like I know I was gaining more weight even being on medication. So it was like a last ditch effort to go on Facebook, TikTok, and I found Michelle. And Michelle is how I met Jim. Actually, finally face to face, because I went ahead and I work with them now. But so let me see here. So my story is I started the protocol like mid-February-ish, and it was because I was just like, there's got to be something out here that's going to help me. But I've tried everything under the sun. I've done Weight Watchers, I've done Jenny Craig, I've done, oh gosh, tons of different things that I've tried. And I was like, okay, I looked at the cost of it, and I learned about what the protocol was, and I'm just like, okay, I am going to make sure that when I start this, I'm just going to put aside, since I'm going to be intermittent fasting, which is something I really have never tried before I did this, or at least not tried successfully. And I put that money aside that I would usually run through McDonald's in the morning and get a nice coffee, sugar free. Thought I was being healthier, and a breakfast burrito. So there was my $5. So then I hopped on the system in February. I'm trying to think time wise. So February, I was having still difficulties, still on medication. By I would say Marchish. To be honest, I don't recommend. Probably should have talked to my doctor first, but I took myself off of my medication because I was checking my sugar daily, before I ate, after I ate, and it was staying steady, unlike what it was when I was actually on medication. So when I finally went to see him, I think it was the very end of May. He was pretty ecstatic with me because he was he was like, "Well, I didn't recommend you going off your medication, but guess what? I lost 25 pounds by then, 7 inches off of my waist. I took my A1C from a 14 down to a 7, and I I cannot I cannot like boast how much better I feel um in my early 50s than I probably have in a long, long time on this system. And I just actually went to the doctor again with him in September, and my A1C continually goes down. I'm now at a 6.7, so I'm still working towards reversing my type 2
Woo!
diabetes. But I'm
That
getting
is
there,
so awesome.
going down that mountain. And
Yes.
he was like, okay, because he was actually kind of talking about putting me back on medication, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that because this is working for me. This is doing great, and I am consistent and I take it faithfully, and it has been amazing for me. Like, I make such better food choices, and I know that's a mental thing as well with this, and just the cravings have gone away. Like, I could go on and on and about it, but yeah, so I'm at a 6.7, and I've lost, let me see, so I said 25 pounds. So I'm now finally at 36 pounds that I've lost.
Woo!
That is
Yes.
absolutely amazing. I love hearing the story. I'm going through these comments, and I hope you guys have been. I mean, I'm listening to you, Debbie. Fortunately, I've heard your story before, so as I was listening to
Yeah.
you, I was also kind of reading these comments, and they're amazing. And the next one up is I'm going to screw that name up. Kamunto Echira. Any testimonial on mental health, specifically clinical depression and bipolar? If you just scroll up a little bit from your comment, you will see Stacy Rawson. Where was that at? She said off depression meds, blood pressure normal, off meds, menopause symptoms regulated, down 20 pounds, no IBS. So yes, there are a lot of people. That's one that I don't typically talk about personally, but I have seen an improvement in that area. And it looks like you're kind of nodding your head, Debbie, is mine to assume that you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm in a better mental space than I was, quite like 6 to 8 months ago, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this right here. Doc, I'm going to put you on the spot. How did all those things, and by the way, 14 down to a 6.7,
Right.
off medications?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Like if she was one of my patients, she'd be on my board, my star board with this big old star and her face on it. Because I'd be so excited. I mean, that was fun for me. I love it. That is great. How is this happening? Insulin resistance attacks all these different cells. I mean, we talk about the focus and the improvement in dimension. That has a lot to do with dealing with that insulin resistance of the neurons. That has a lot to do with that. And then just dealing with insulin resistance everywhere. Once we bring down the insulin, then we get that fluid to move. We get to lose some of that water weight, but then we also get into fat burning because we're in ketosis. We have that insulin low. And so we're not using glucose for fuel as much. We're using fat for fuel. So that way we're literally eating our love handles. And then once you get that glucose and insulin down, of course, you get these great changes with these A1Cs. I mean, Debbie, yes, I am loving it. I love all of this.
That is awesome. Okay, Debbie, I'm going to go ahead and shut your camera off, but would you do me a favor and stick around because I want to bring you back in at the end for that same Q&A that I was talking to Bev about. That's amazing. And guys, I hope you guys were listening to all of those testimonials. I want to throw one up here. It just came in. This one means the world to me, actually. This is my uncle, John. My sister-in-law, Judy, says she's feeling great. You rock. John, that's my cousin, my uncle. They're like a third cousin, second cousin kind of thing. So I call him my uncle. And his daughter here. And that just, guys, I want to point out, I talked to my family about this. I wouldn't steer my family wrong. Okay. Okay. So let me set up this next guest. And real quick, guys, I'm just going to recap. If you've been tagged into this live stream, that means that whoever tagged you into it thinks you should hear the information that's being shared tonight, okay? If at any point you decide, hey, I want to try this system, I want to go ahead and order it, all you have to do is get back to that person. I will explain the ins and outs of how we use the system briefly after our next guest. But if you decide you want to order the system, just get with whoever it was that invited you to this live stream, and they can tell you how to order, okay? They'll share with you a discount code. It's a referral code, and you'll get a lifetime discount to the manufacturer. But here's the deal. I have a customer. Her name is Rhonda, and I love Rhonda. I've gotten to know her pretty well over the last 6 months or so. She's a customer. She's not a business partner or anything like that. She's a customer. And Rhonda, like so many people, is just sharing this with everybody under the sun. And she has a person who I believe is watching. I don't know the person's name, but that person said, does it do anything with colitis? Now, Dr. Tiffany, I don't know much about colitis, and truthfully, I've had hundreds of testimonials on diabetes and weight loss and all these different things, but I did not have anybody on colitis. Doc, what is colitis? Can you just give us that? What is this?
So, I mean, itis just really means inflammation. So anytime that suffix is added to a word, is inflammation. So inflammation of the colon. Now, there's some particular diseases like ulcerative colitis and just colitis itself. So the colon gets inflamed. It's hard to eat certain foods. You can have pain, you can have diarrhea, you can have constipation. It just all around sucks. And sometimes it's hard to figure out what things trigger it. So it's one of those things that, we're like, yeah, you have that, but I don't have a good way to help you. Maybe try this immunosuppressants or something. So when you have that as an option, you're left with just being miserable. So it's great that we have somebody that's had some good results with something that's natural and is able to get his life back. So I'm excited to hear this story.
Yeah. And so I want to just be clear that when you sign up with somebody, you get kind of a coach, right? I've got a lot, and I don't like the word coach, but I get it. It fits, right? You get a sponsor. Let's use sponsor, coach, whatever you want to call it. That sponsor or that coach is really connected to a lot of other sponsors and coaches.
Yep.
And what I did when Rhonda reached out to me, I went to a back channel thing that we have set up, and I just asked the question. I came across the next person. Now, truthfully, I met them a few days ago because they came in. They said, yeah, Jim, I know exactly what you're talking about. I invited them here. I don't know them any better than you, Dr. Tiff. So here we go. With that being said, Kevin, first off, thank you for joining our live stream, brother. And yes. I really appreciate you're taking the time out of your day to share your experience. I'm going to put you on the spot, man. Obviously, I would normally ask people, how did we meet? Where were you at when we met? And, well, that doesn't apply with Dr. Tiff or myself. So no. How did you come across the system? Let's start there. How did you come across the system? And where were you at with your health at that time, and where are you? What's your story, brother? I'm gonna give you the.
Well, Jim, can you hear me first of all?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
Yep, and I'm representing right here. Let's go Hoosiers. Anyway, so I do appreciate, first and foremost, really appreciate you giving me time to share testimonial story, Jim and Doctor. I just really appreciate it because I think being able to tell your story, no matter where you're at in life, whatever struggles you go through, man, if you're an overcomer, right, to be able to share that story, that testimony can help somebody else. So I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to do that. So I really just here because I want other people to feel better, to get healthy, and I really feel like it's just another calling, right, that we have. So anyway, so yeah, you asked me kind of how I found out about it. So my wife Tracy. Many of you know, she's been on the system, the protocol for 2 years, I believe. And she started as just a weight loss thing. She'd tried everything for years, and some things work and then it didn't, whatever. She started this and she stayed very consistent with the protocol and she started losing weight and consistently. And she's lost 70 pounds now. Mentally, she feels great. I mean, she was in, states of depression, things like that she battled for years because of weight control and different things. But I was skeptical at first, I have to admit, but I was going to support her no matter what, right? So, but I seen a real change in her, and it stuck. It wasn't anything that, and it seemed like she was enjoying it because it was easy. It wasn't a meal plan. She wasn't counting calories. She was just doing what the protocol told her to do, and the product, it worked. I mean, it really worked. Myself, I have struggled since my young 20s with ulcerative colitis. And through the years, several different bouts, just real, where I would just have real bad attacks, where it would last for weeks or months. And then it kind of go away for a while. Always kind of dealt with IBS, always throughout the years. And I'm 55 now. I'll soon be 56. And I think each time I had a bout with it, it was worse than the time before, right? Been to doctors, and I, had all the, all the tests that you're supposed to take. And basically in 2022, it just slammed me, right? All the things that Dr. Tiffany spoke of, diarrhea, severe cramping, bleeding, going to the restroom 20 plus times a day. You just couldn't put a finger on it. And I found a new doctor who was great and would really help me, but it knocked me out in 2022. I was out of work for a month. I mean, I was just really, really struggling. And, did the emergency colonoscopy. You have severe ulcerative colitis. We're going to start you on, at the time it was just steroids that targeted my colon. Wanted to put me on a medicine like Humira or injections, things like that, but they tried the steroid first to help, like Dr. Tiffany said, it's inflammation. It's inflammation in your colon, and mine was so severe. And so I did that I was on that for a year, taking the steroids, right? It helped at times, but most of the time I was still having the troubles, right? So a year later, I had to have another colonoscopy, and I had actually started, so that was August 2022. A year later, August 2023, late August, September, Tracy finally kind of talked me into, and I tried it here and there, the product, the balance and the Unimate, and it was okay, but I didn't, I was like, whatever. I finally started using it consistently. We bought me, got on the system. I was using it every day, like she told me to. I was a snacker every 2 hours. I ate what I didn't matter what I ate or not ate, didn't matter. So the doctor wanted to see me again. Then in November, I had another colonoscopy, and he's like, it's really not getting any better. We really need to put you on Humira and injections. And, I don't know if you've seen all the commercials on TV, all the side effects, they're just scare you to death, right?
Horrible.
They're horrible. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to have all these side effects, I'm probably going to have some other kind of medicine, and you're not going to ever come off the injections. So, and the funny thing is, the doctor, he told me basically it's an autoimmune disease that didn't really matter what you eat, that if you used to get sick with a virus, whether it's a flu or COVID or something, it attacks my lower colon is what happens, and it gets inflamed, and then it's just hard to get back to normal. But he wanted to start me on the injections, and I said, I just started this Unicity, this new protocol, and I even told him it's in the PDR. If he'd look it up, check it out, see what he thought, and maybe try it, because I'd been on about a month and a half. I said, if I could stay on this for 6 months, and let's see where we're at in 6 months. And he was really adamant. He said, I want to stay on top of it because you're high risk for colon cancer. And when you get it, it'll be aggressive. And he said, I don't want to scare you, but I also don't want you to let this go any longer. And so it did. It scared Tracy and me a little bit. And I said, but he said, I'll see you back here in 5 months. And so I stayed on the protocol, did exactly, the fasting. I ate in my windows. I took, I drank the balance before my meals. I fasted. I everything that I'm supposed to do. I slowly started just feeling better. Weeks go by, and I'm like, man, I'm starting to feel pretty good. And my system started just taking care of itself. So the following 6 months later, late March, I go back in for a follow-up colonoscopy. Feeling really good. You know, like I'm pretty normal now. My bowel movements are normal. Not having any issues anymore. I'm feeling really good. Eating what I want. You know, and so we did the follow-up colonoscopy. This would be in the third one, and within like a year and a half, right? And I come out of the procedure, and the doctor come in with Tracy, and as I'm in the recovery room, and he said, everything looks really good. The inflammation is gone. There are some, they call them pseudo polyps, which is just polyps, I think, that just kind of scar tissue that had healed. He said they did take biopsies of those type of things, but he said everything's looking really good. And he said this, I quote him. He says, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it."
Right. And
we're like, okay, this is the first thing that's ever helped. You know what I mean? Like this is right. It's really helped. And he was awesome. The doctor, I have to give him credit because he said, and so I'm not on any medication. I'm off of the steroids. I'm not on any injections. You know, I don't even take ibuprofen anymore or anything like that. And on, yeah, and I give God all the praise because I really felt like He led us to this, Tracy and me both. You know, I'm always going to give God praise in all that we do, and it's just like I said, another testimony of His goodness because I don't know, it's just amazing that that I'm back. It's like I'm reset. I feel so much better, and I've lost 32 pounds on top of it. Like I feel great, you know. So that's kind of where we're at.
Kevin, I want to be clear. I like to do math. I do stupid math along the way, but you, I think in 2022, if you're 55 going on 56, you were 53 going on 54 at the time, and you said that you got colitis when you were 21. So we're talking 32 years of that condition. More than half of your, like 60% of your life, right? Is that the right math?
Something like that.
Of your life.
Yeah. I had it when I was in my young 20s. It hit me. I even had like a pancreatitis attack. I had all kinds. Listen, I wasn't living the healthiest lifestyle anyway in my young 20s, I'll have to admit. But anyway, and I had that bout, and it kind of went away, for 10 years. And then it hit me again, and then.
I love the fact that you were a skeptic. Right, Tracy?
I was a skeptic when she started it, yes, because,
I said it will heal your gut.
Even after Tracy's. Right. Even after Tracy's great experience, because Tracy has a great before and after. She has an awesome story.
And I was so happy for her. And, the funny thing is I kept listening to all the training and the live videos and everything she was saying, I was listening to, and finding out that everything starts in our gut, right? All the problems that we have starts in the gut, is what I've found out. I'm like, man,
that is amazing.
So I was, I'll try it, whatever, and here we are. A year ago, August, I've been using Unicity protocol. I mean, every day the way I'm supposed to. I don't snack anymore. I eat in my little windows, and there's no counting calories. I don't really watch what I eat. I can't say that I do. I just don't. I watch when I eat more so.
Right.
But yeah, I feel fantastic, and I hope anybody that's struggling with any kind of colitis or Crohn's is real close to that too. Any kind of inflammation in your gut like that. I would suggest trying it out. What do you have to lose? 90-day money back guarantee. I got a feeling by the end of that 90 days, you're going to start feeling better because that's what happened to me. I started late August, September, November. Doctor's like, well, I guess we'll try it by Christmas. I'm feeling pretty good, and then I'm like, let's hope this keeps up till I go back. And it really did. And I'm still, here I am, that was last March. So I'm still,
Okay. I'm going to, for the sake of time, Kevin, I'm going to shut your camera off real quick. Cause I want to go through how the product works, but I want you to stay there because I'm going to bring you back and we're going to have a couple of minutes for questions here. If you're okay with that, Kevin.
That's fine. No problem.
That story was so awesome.
What an amazing story.
Loved it.
Doc, you know what, Doc? I will never get tired of hearing stuff like that. And I knew it was going to be amazing. That was really cool.
I didn't realize he had ulcerative colitis. That's a whole nother thing. Whole nother thing.
See, I'm new to this. Right? Okay, folks. So normally I would go into a lot of detail about why the products work and how the products work. But for the sake of time, and I think we've got some great guests, I want to get them back in here. I know there's a lot of questions. So I'm going to just give a quick little rundown, and I'm going to encourage you to follow Dr. Tiffany. Doc, why don't you give your socials? Where can people find you?
Dr. Tiffany Marie on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay. And then I'm the Healthy Pit Master on everything. Every platform you can find, I'm the Healthy Pit Master, okay? And both Dr. Tiffany and I do live streams. We go into great detail about how the products work, why they work. For the sake of time, I'm going to talk about how to use them right now, okay? So as mentioned, we do a 16 and 8 time-based eating schedule. It's intermittent fasting. So at minimum, 16 hours of fast. That sounds difficult, but really what it entails is skipping breakfast.
Yep.
At 8 o'clock, I draw a hard line. 8 o'clock at night, I draw a hard line. I don't eat again until noon the following day, which really is skipping breakfast, okay? If you can go a little bit longer, maybe you have dinner and you cut off at 7 and you get 17 hours in before noon. That's wonderful. The longer, the better. Try and get to at least 16 hours. Between the hours of noon and 8, we have ourselves 2 meals. Now, it's not a dry fast. Ramadan is a dry fast. They don't have water. They don't have anything. It's a dry fast. We're not talking about a dry fast. We're talking about a water fast. You can have water. You can have coffee. You can have tea, water-based products. During the fast, we drink Unicity's Unimate. Now, Unimate is a yerba mate extract, and this is where I'm going to kind of accelerate. At the end of the day, Dr. Bickman, the fat doctor, says that this increases GLP-1 by up to 70% during a fasted state. Dr. Ben Bickman says that this increases your body's efficiency to burn fat. It increases ketones. There are all sorts of wonderful things that happen. In addition to all of that, it helps suppress your appetite. It makes the fast easy. It just makes the fast easier, okay? We have one of those. When it's gone, you just drink a second one. It's that simple. No hokey pokey. You drink 2 of these in the day, okay? When you get ready to eat your biggest meal, I forgot to add, drink it hot or cold in as much or as little water as you want, okay? I drink mine in 30 ounces of water hot. I always drink a second one, usually cold. Hot or cold in as much or as little water as you want. Before you eat your heaviest meal, I'm going to define the heaviest meal as the carbohydrate-laden meal, the one that's got pasta or, you know, your burger and fries, your pizza, something like that. Drink one of these. Now, of course, we want to kind of try and stay away from those. But if you're going to drink one of those, or if you're going to eat one of those, drink this right before that. Drink it in about 300 milliliters of cold water. You'll get a cool little bottle that has a line to fill up with water. Add this to it. Give it a couple shakes. And pretend like you're at a frat party in college. Just down the hatch as quickly as you can do it. Okay? That is the entire system. That's how it works. And trust me, when you do that, that's how we get to the results that we've been talking about. Now, I want to bring anybody in, the guests back in, and I'm going to encourage some questions. We've got a few minutes left here. What am I doing? How am I doing this, guys? What are we doing?
I don't know.
That's what I was looking at. Okay. You know, I'm just going to push buttons until it works, right? I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and Melissa Bradley, Dr. Tiffany and Jim, Healthy Pit Master, follow these guys. Melissa, that's very kind of you. Okay. First question, do you know of anyone that has sickle cell using the system? Boy, that's a tough one. Doctor, I hand that ball off to you.
I love that question. Unfortunately, I do not have anybody that I know directly, but that does not mean we don't know, because there's thousands of us, more than that. We're in a conference with 16,000. So yeah, I would just have to do some feelers to find somebody.
Yeah. And again, I'm naive, but isn't that has nothing to do with, a lot of things are tied to insulin resistance. That is not one of them, correct? I don't think, right?
Only because decreasing inflammation would definitely help that.
Okay.
But it is a blood cell issue.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not seeing any. Are there any? What are you doing, Jim? I got a little bit of a dog situation happening behind me. A couple Great Danes. I don't see any other questions coming in. You guys are letting Dr. Tiffany and these guests off really, really easy. Okay.
Time for me to go.
So here's the deal. If you've been tagged into this live stream, do me a favor and you want to buy the product, just get with whoever invited you into the live stream. they will tell you how to purchase the product. It's that simple.
Yep.
So simple. Okay. I want to go with some parting words. I love this part. And I'm going to go one by one. And I'm going to start with Bev. Bev, there are a lot of skeptics that are out there. And I'm going to ask you to keep it, for the sake of time, keep it to 60 seconds. If you're talking to a skeptic, somebody who's out there saying, this seems like a bunch of bull, there's no way, like you were actually.
Exactly.
If you're talking to them, what do you say to them?
Jump, try it, do it. You have nothing to lose. 100% money back guarantee. It's real. You won't regret it. I did it. One of the best decisions we could make. And again, get the education to empower yourself to get in the driver's seat of your health and know that you truly do deserve so much more. And there's a lot more in 2024 that's happening.
Yep.
Love it. I love it. Debbie, same question. What do you say to that skeptic?
What I would say is, if you're sick and tired of being sick, then you need to hop on in feet first, go for it, do it, be consistent with it. It will work. It is wonderful. It's amazing. Give yourself your health back. Give yourself your life back. Just do it.
I love that. And Kevin, I don't know if you noticed or not, but Sharonda asked a question. What type of food, and she was asking it directly to you, what type of food works and the fasting hours?
So the food, I honestly, now that I eat what I want, I just make sure I drink the balance, which is the fiber, before I eat my meal. And I eat it at lunch at noon, drink my balance. We eat again I don't eat anything in between my meals. I don't snack. We eat again about 6 o'clock, drink another balance. I'm on the 2 balance, 1 Unimate protocol. And then I probably don't eat after 6:37. And then I just fast until noon the next day. The Unimate, which I drink in the morning, helps me with my fast, and it helps with my mental clarity. I just feel better. Honestly, I don't even think about snacking anymore. It's amazing. But when I eat, and am I eating those windows, I eat what I want, which is the awesome thing about it. It's not like I have a diet plan or anything like that. The balance, I think, really has helped me because the fiber coats my stomach and allows me to digest the food the way it's supposed to be. And I think and keeps my insulin from spiking, keeps the inflammation down. And that's probably been the biggest help. Hopefully that answers the question.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I've added in a couple other comments as they were coming in, and I do want to address, for some reason, Instagram questions don't come up on my Restream feed. Mrs. Smith 1908 on Instagram asked, what about diverticulitis and what about caffeine? So I'm going to hit those really quick. If you're in an active, and Dr. Tiff, correct me if I'm wrong. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut these cameras off so that it's Dr. Tiff and I. And I appreciate you guys all coming in here. Tell me if I'm wrong. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Tiff. If they're in an active flare-up with diverticulitis, you should run away from fiber. Don't come anywhere near fiber. However, fiber is the best prevention method for diverticulitis. So if you're not in an active flare-up, balance is amazing for you. If you are in an active flare-up, you should be looking at like the carnivore diet. Stay away from all carbs. Is that accurate, Dr. Tiff?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. And then also, what about caffeine? It's interesting. Caffeine is a very interesting question. And I'm going to just, again, squish this into a 30-second response. That is one of the few things that Unicity does not actually specifically measure for. It really varies by the batch of Yerba leaf that they bring in. I am told that each packet averages between 80 and 100 milligrams of caffeine per packet, which is about the equivalent of 1 cup of coffee. Now, I want to point out that one of the things that they do measure for, one of the things that they do extract, it's a yerba mate extract, is theobromine. And theobromine has this interesting relationship with caffeine. it kind of nullifies the effects. You get this amazing boost of energy, but you don't get the jitters. Nobody ever gets the jitters when they're drinking this product. So if you have a caffeine sensitivity, right? If you're caffeine sensitive, like my mother is, AFib, my mother has not had one single episode since she started this product. And she has AFib, not one single episode.
Wow.
So I hope that answers the questions for you, Mrs. Smith. I hope that answers for you. I'm sorry it took so long to get to you. I see the questions over here. They just don't pop up on my research. Okay, so with that in mind, Dr. Tiff, what are your parting words?
Well, real quick with the caffeine sensitivity, I would dilute it. The more you dilute it out to your 32 ounces of water instead of just the bottle tends to help too. But outside of that, what are my parting words? How many people take their cars to get their checkup yearly? How many people, take their dogs in to the vet? I mean, on a regular basis, too many. And we leave our bodies, we don't do it. So you know what? Your health is your number one depreciating asset. Invest wisely. That's all I'm saying. We know about investing. It's the time. Invest wisely and stop playing with your health.
In the United States, and I say in the United States, guys, these products are available in like 60 countries globally. It's all over the world. It's quite prominent everywhere. In the United States, it costs $159 a month. That's a 30-day supply. If you break that down, really it's about $5.30 per day. You cannot go through Starbucks drive-through for $5.30 a day. When you start intermittent fasting, your breakfast, what you're not paying in breakfast is what covers the entire day's worth of products, okay? Unicity offers a 90-day money-back guarantee. I think it was Bev. She put that very eloquently. Give this 90 days, guys. Give it 90 days to really kind of get into your system. You've been sick for 30 years. Give this thing 3 months.
Right.
If at the end of 3 months you're not satisfied, ask for a refund. There are a lot of people who are skeptical. There's somebody on YouTube right now watching us that's named Hi, and I highlighted your comment. I'm talking to you directly, YouTube guy. Hi. I'm skeptical. There's so many things out there. I totally get it. We're afraid of being scammed. Let me just tell you, scams don't give you your money back.
Never.
They never give you your money back. If there was somebody at Unicity who was in charge of the scam department and they were like, hey, you know what? We're going to give everybody their money back. They would get fired.
Yeah.
Because they would be awful at making scams. So it's not a scam. I understand it seems like it's too good to be true.
Right.
I think you saw all of the people that I was putting up their comments. It's an amazing product, guys. Take the leap of faith. I think my niece, she says it right here. It's a leap of faith. And the worst thing that could happen is after 90 days, you get your money back. Steffi, my niece, I love that. Well put. Okay, guys, thank you very much. If you want to order the product, get with the person who invited you into here. We're back next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Same time, same place. Dr. Tiff and I, Doc, you are a rock star. Thank you.
You